Hi, this is Father Louis Scurti with Heather Finn. If you've seen previous episodes, you know the general topics we're dealing with. It's such a sad and heart-rending topic. Human trafficking, drugs, sex, homelessness. But these are topics we as Christians need to know about and work on eliminating in our society, not only where Heather is from, Arizona, but throughout the country. So get ready for another heart-rending um, sharing because it's going to bother you, and it should bother all of us. Okay, what is do you think is the bottom motivation for trafficking, Heather?
Money,
Root of all evil,
money,
they say, right?
yeah, root of all evil. Money, control. So the most vulnerable are going to be the most attacked. So, you know, obviously right now are migrants, are anybody that's relocated. Okay, so let's talk about vulnerabilities. Like you're with a boyfriend, right? And he says, let's move to Indiana. And you're like, that's fantastic. And you're in Indiana and now you're isolated from your family. You're away from everybody that you love and you're only with him. And now you're just vulnerable, right? So that happens. And I know that sounds crazy, but I had a friend that it happened to.
It's the root of domestic violence too. It happens
1000%.
anywhere. You don't have to move into Indiana. It could happen in your own household,
Right.
being a victim. Go ahead.
No, true though.
Yeah.
But like that's all part of it though. I mean, you think about it, it's human trafficking, but where does that come from? It comes from domestic violence as well. It comes from sexual exploitation of children. Like we can all sit here and go, okay, that human trafficking is horrible, but it's also domestic violence is horrible. Like I work with a lot of women that, well, we do a Mother's Day event at a place where women and children are brought for domestic violence, and they're brought to an amazing grounds where it's an old army base or air force base in Arizona and Mesa, and there's all these little single homes, and these women get to be like women again and be able to be with their children safely. That's huge. So vulnerable people are taken advantage of every day.
Where do they come from? Those women,
Mostly homelessness,
homeless shelters.
shelters, and just homelessness. Like Arizona, when the transition of administrations happened, we suffered the most. Arizona, Maricopa County, during Obama, with the Obamacare, our health care went up 215%. Okay. So me, I don't care. I'll pay the $400 fine and I'll just be, but like there's people out there that have four children
Mm-hmm,
and they
mm-hmm.
need health insurance, right? So they're paying that and then they're sacrificing other stuff. Then the whole uh, housing market, 30 our rents went up 33% in Maricopa County. Like that is unheard of. Why? Because we have people coming from California trying to flee from California. So Arizona, Maricopa County is one of the most desirable. So of course they're going to come to us, but yet people are being greedy and raising rents. And I saw my daughter at 20, 7 years old being like rented out of her where she's living. So she was, luckily, she was able to buy a home, but what happens if you don't? Or you can't? Or you don't have family to help you. So what ends up happening? You're living in your car with your children. I met a woman on the streets and this blew my friggin' mind. I was downtown in the zone. I was at Andre's house. It's a place where they come and they get fed, and I drop off clothes there because it's a lot of men, and men really get overlooked, I feel. in a lot of ways because they just feel like they're men, they can handle it, whatever. But there's a lot of men that just need a little love. So I always bring brand new stuff down there. I always bring as much as I can. And I was down there and I saw this kid that I had been watching, making sure he was okay. And I see him and I'm like, hey, how are you? And this woman comes walking up to me out of nowhere. It was the craziest, like, weirdest experience. And I talked about this on social media. She came out of no place and I said, hey, honey, how are you? I said, are you okay? She goes, no, no. I said, what? How can I help you? I said, she goes, it took me 2 weeks. I said, what took you 2 weeks? She goes, the drugs. It took me 2 weeks to leave my family. I went, what? Like, I couldn't, but that's what it comes down to. Like, if you can't afford to take care of your children and you're a single mother, let's just say, and you get turned on to drugs, you're gone. Your kids are now with whoever. We'll talk about that. Hopefully, with the father, the grandmother, whatever. We don't want them in the foster care system. But the money that's involved in this human trafficking is mind blowing. 5 years ago, when I first started, 4 years ago, when I first started this journey, it was a $150 billion business. There's no way it's only a $150 billion business. Cartel members came out of freaking retirement to make $1 billion. There's cartels, siblings, and people that are coming out of nothing, and they're just going into the business because they're going to make money off of it. Like, that is not normal. Like, that's not normal to make money off of other people in that way. So when you're talking about that, you're talking about nobody is brought into this without a dollar sign on them. Every single person that comes over the border is $7,000. So if you're part of the cartel with your little bracelet on that has all your things, and I'll send you the pictures of they literally the cartel has taken technology to a whole nother level, and we have allowed that. The American people have allowed it because we never stopped them. So, like, you know, you have these things. It has how much you owe, where you came from, but and then there's a scan code to know where you're going and how much more you owe. So that's where the force, fraud, and coercion comes in. So it's a money maker. When you have people that are coming from China, how much do you think that Iran? How much money do you think that they're being paid for those? Nobody's allowed to leave China. Period. Nobody's allowed to leave China. So now you're leaving China. You're either paying somebody or you're paying somebody. Somebody or somebody. Pick it. 31% of victims will never be identified as minors. And only 1% of traffickers will ever be convicted. Imagine that.
Why so little?
Because everybody's making money. Everybody's making money. Like, unfortunately, politicians are making money. School systems are making money. Police officers are making money. You're going to tell me that a child that goes to school, now, I'm not dissing the teachers. I love teachers. I love educators. I think they're brilliant. I think they're very spread thin. They don't get paid enough. They should be paid $100,000, period, end of story. Right out of the gate. They're educators. They're teaching our future. They should be paid a lot of money, right? They're not. They're not even educated on human trafficking. They're not educated on domestic abuse, exploitation of children. Like, this has to be a part of our society at this stage because it's happening everywhere. It's happening in schools. There's teachers that are exploiting children. Our internet, like, I have a friend that's son is in the middle of being, like, ridiculed for getting a text message about a girl. So he's going to be, like, ostracized for getting the text message, but the person that sent the text message goes, And that's what's happening in this country. Pornhub is a major problem. Major problem. In I have a friend that knows somebody. I don't know her. And she has been trying to get her daughter's picture taken down from Pornhub for like 7 years. And every time she fights them to the end, they say, yes, we're going to take it down. It's up again. And then they take the face and they put it on another body. And then they take the body and put it on the face. There's so much manipulation within the industry. It takes it to another level. I know that people don't understand that it's that simple. Your children should not be on social media as much as they are. And I was the mother that gave my daughter, my oldest, a cell phone at 10. And I'm telling you now, I would never do that now, ever. I gave it to her because I wanted to get in touch with her, because I was in the city. I was a working mother. I know all the reasons why we do it, but we should be tracking our children. That's why we should give them a phone. So we know exactly where they are, what they're doing, who they're talking to, because the internet has opened up. Every child and every site gets hits. It's about the money. It's always about the money at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. Homelessness, it's about the money. It's all, nothing is ever about the people. And that drives me cuckoo, because I want to know, where's the people for the people? How do we take them off the street and make them better people to put them back in society? We don't. We just want to keep them sick.
And warehouse them.
Warehouse them, right? And like, even like when I first moved to Arizona, Arizona was obviously always huge with drugs, right? Because we're a border state and whatever, right? But we also had a lot of like Florida, we have a lot of recovery centers, right?
Mm.
So my one girlfriend's very, very involved with recovery. She's always been for a million years, and I respect her. I always reach out to her. We all need resources.
Yeah.
We love resources, like you need your people that you can reach out to and say, how can I do this better? How can I not speak this way? Or how should I speak a certain way to certain people?
And this is great for our audience to hear, because it's not just a show you're watching. This is a lesson. The whole presentation is a lesson for all of us. Go ahead.
No, but seriously, like I would say to my friend, like I always, like my one girlfriend who worked in recovery for human trafficking, she would say, that's what you want. What does she want? And I would say, she should want what I want. Like I want her to be good. Right. I want her to be perfect. I want to love her. I want to take her. I want to like make her beautiful. Like. But what does she want? What is that? So that's a huge lesson, right? You have to like, what does other people want? But I don't. I just want to fix them. You can't fix everybody. I get that. But the money at the end of the day, Arizona had a lot of recovery centers. And my girlfriend reached out to me and she said, do you know this place called Prescott? And I said, yeah, it's a beautiful place. Very beautiful. It's up by Sedona. And she said, do you know that they have a lot of recovery places like Florida? I said, no, I never knew that. So she's like, can you look into a couple places? My friend wants to send her son, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, let me look into it. I was blown away. These centers were being given money to keep these drug addictive children. They were children. They were 20, 25, 24. I don't care. You're a child. Especially if you're doing drugs from 15 to 25, your brain is 15. Your brain's not 25, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Hello? Yeah. You're the expert, not me. But like you stun your growth.
They're fixated. Yeah.
So like they're children. So these recovery houses, and they were houses. They were like beautiful homes with 10 recoveries in it, right? People that are beautiful and deserve it. The parents are paying, or the insurance is paying $10,000 a month for them to be there. They were keeping them sick. They were feeding them drugs. They all got shut down. There was like 15 of them. probably more.
What year was that?
Oh, 2019, 2018, 20. Yeah, it had to be
Oh,
2018, 2018. It was like before, it was many years ago. But I was like blown away that when I, why? But why?
money.
It's money. It's a $150 billion business for human trafficking. So, if are you ever gonna solve that problem? Are you ever gonna solve the fentanyl that's pouring over the border? No. The fentanyl is like part of the human trafficking because the only way you can be trafficked, and I sat with a trafficking survivor, and she said to me, it takes 2 weeks. They
Which
hotbox
which
you,
means
shoot you with heroin every single day, and then it just becomes part of your routine. You get heroin, or now it's fentanyl. I
yeah.
mean, and she said they would just shoot with heroin, and they would welcome it because after a while you're being abused and
Mm,
used as an animal again. People would people would stop in their tracks if I said an animal was being kicked in the head.
yeah, yeah, right, right, right.
But yet we have people, children, being kicked, abused, starved, malnutrition, um, sexually abused, sodomized, and nobody will say a word. And they'll tell you, "Oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it." Too bad, so sad. This is what's happening in our world. It's horrible.
What can the average person who's listening to this do?
Get involved. Get involved in your community. Understand what human trafficking is. Educate your children. Like my daughter, my 17-year-old and her friends, they want to like strangle me, but they love me because I yell at them all. Don't be sitting ducks. Watch your surroundings. Do not speak to anybody on social media. You do not know who they're. My daughter will come to me at 17 years old and say, "Ma, who is this texting me?" Because I said it to her 5 million times. Never open a text from anybody. You don't know. You don't know what they know. We live in a different world. We're not living in the same world. We're living in an internet world. Money from the internet. You know how much money the internet makes off
Mm,
of exploiting children? Every time somebody clicks on a image of a child, that company gets money. Why are you clicking on images of children? When you have children, or maybe you don't, but most of the people that, and I'm going to tell you, the biggest human traffickers are women,
mm,
especially in Haiti, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, all the South American countries, but even here. Women will sell children quicker than men. Mind blowing. And I've sat at panels where there's human trafficking gurus, like people that have been in the field, have been in Cambodia, have been in like obscure places where they've taken children um uh I'm sorry, orphanages, right? Because that's where they most of the
yeah,
time they
yeah,
get them
yeah,
from, right? Or tragedy, natural disasters,
yeah.
Haiti, right? So they bring that's what it is. It's women. You go in, the women are selling the children to the men. It's mind blowing,
Mm.
but it's always about the money.
And if you want any more information on this, besides Heather's information that we're going to post up later, uh, go online, research it. So don't just take it for our word, take it for Heather's word, but research it yourself. All aspects of this, because this is really, you know, it, I don't want to hear it.
I know nobody does though,
Yeah,
and I
that's
know there's
it.
a lot of people like even in my own family, like this time that they're like, okay, Debbie Downer. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Like I know people don't want to hear it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
do you think the trafficker, the survivor wants to hear it? I mean, I have a survivor that we both know, and do you think she wants to hear it?
She doesn't. I mean, she'll remain nameless. She doesn't want to talk about it. I mean, she's already given both of us a history of her experiences that have been authenticated, but she won't talk about it. And where she was trafficked, regrettably, they were quote Christians,
Right.
and and she doesn't want to know anything about God,
Christianity.
Christianity, anything, because she was victimized, like treated over a period of many years like a piece of trash. I mean, taken to the mountains and in a cabin, trapped, and then taken to a city, trapped, and her abusers were sometimes men, sometimes women, but she was continuously sold from one person to another. And okay, let's end this whole series with a positive note. Okay, this is a nameless woman. How old is she?
Ah, she's beautiful. 31,
Okay,
we think,
yeah.
but
There's no records.
there's
There's
no
no
records.
records.
A beautiful, beautiful story. I love her so much.
We both shared a lot of time with her, but I was introduced to her by Heather, and the story gets better as you'll
But I
hear.
love her so much. And she has never wanted anybody to, I don't think she never wanted anybody to care about her, but she never thought she could be cared about.
She, and this is one of the scars that she has. She doesn't trust.
Anybody.
Yeah, I mean
Anybody.
that's think about that. She doesn't trust anyone because for 31 years she has not been able to latch on to anyone, so no attachment, and she was a piece of merchandise through the years.
Like I said, cocaine could be sold once. A
Yeah.
child could be sold 25 to 30 times a day. Like she lived that.
Yeah. And we're
But
not going
she's
to describe
brilliant. But she's
her
brilliant. But she's
her
brilliant.
yes, we're not
She's
going to
brilliant.
describe her uh, savage behavior,
No,
how they treated her, but it was terrible, and she's very bright,
she's
extremely.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, brilliant. And I adore her. And she's like one of my own.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of her. So 3 years ago, I was asked by a friend of mine to mind her because she was leaving the facility that she was living at. And I said, of course, I'll check on her. So I took her out and I loved her from the moment I met her. And I met her a couple times at the facility, but she was always very quiet and always standoffish. And then I really got to know her. And then I probed and, of course it's all about me because I'm like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I'm like, okay, stop. I can't do that, right? So I had to like think about it, and then I just befriended her, and I say, come to my house, be around my kids. My children love her. My family loves her. She's been to holidays. She's just brilliant. But it took her a little bit to trust me. I don't know how much she really trusts me. I think I'm probably the closest person she's ever going to trust, but I think that's debatable sometimes because
She doesn't know how to trust.
it has nothing to do with me.
No
It has to do with her life and her horrific
experiences.
experiences.
Yeah.
But with that being said, uh 2 years ago I said to her, let's get your crap together. Like let's figure out how to get you out of this facility. Let's get you successful. Like I'm not here to just give you a sandwich and give you this and give you that. I want to see success. That's what handing out hope is all about. Like let's rise you up, not hold you down. And a lot of facilities I have found they are money driven,
Funded. Yeah.
funded, money driven, and they keep people there. I don't want that. If I had a facility, it would be like in and out. Come in, let's get you the frig out and be successful, right? Get you a business, get you a husband, get you a house, get you whatever you need, a dog, a car, whatever.
I'll
He keep
edit that
cutting
out.
out. I know.
We just said her name. We're going to edit that out. So if there's a little bleep before this, you'll know why.
She was like, she needed everything. She needed everything. She needed therapy. She needed love. She needed people to care for her. She needed it all. And I feel like we helped her in so many ways. Like I said to her, I have a therapist I'd like you to work with and I'd like you to meet with. And she was a little bit standoffish about it because of the Christianity and her hatred for what she's been through. And I said, but this is different. And I wasn't trying to sell her on it because again, being mindful, like I never want her or anybody that I work with to think that I'm using them the way they were used.
Yes, yes, very
Because
dangerous.
in so many ways, they are exploited even after being rescued or being a survivor. So I'm very cognitive and tries to be like boom, boom, boom. So with her, I really put a lot more effort into my way that and it's very hard.
Yeah. I think they do too by now.
But like, so I would just say to her, like, you got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this, we got to do that, and and take her out and like experience things that she never experienced, like taking her to Lululemon and get an outfit. Like she doesn't even know what Lululemon is. Not that I care about Lululemon, but I'm just saying, like the kids all care about it. So I'm like, let's go get you an outfit and like take her out for shoes and get this. Like she loves to walk. I'm like, get a proper pair of shoes. Like she never had that. Christmas, get her gifts, and she'd be like she didn't she didn't understand it
Suspicious,
almost.
yeah.
And that's her word.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
Yeah.
She's always suspicious. And I understand that because of what she's been through. But here we are a year later. So last year,
quite a few years later.
well, quite a few years, but last year we got Handing Out Hope, helped her get her driver's license and driving lessons. And she had much therapy for confidence for that. Like, I know that she never shows certain accolades and she doesn't know how to, but like the fact that she was able to do certain things didn't come from where she is. It came from us working with her together, and she got her driver's license. She did fantastic. And even when she was not, was unsure if she was ready for the driver's license, I said to her, honey, just take another lesson. Oh, I can. Like,
right. Because everything came with a price before.
So I was like, yes, of course. So that I learned a lot from, like just what you said, like learning, like for her to not think that I will never use her in any way, shape, or form. And I always say to her, like, can I talk about you in like a situation? She's like, yes. So I always ask, but I know that now she has so much confidence from just getting that driver's license that she got a job. She works at Amazon. She drives a big, huge truck. I'm like, yes! She sends me pictures of her in the truck and stuff. And she's got her dog, who Operation Underground Railroad, thank you, Jesus, gave her.
And that dog is her best friend.
Best friend ever. Yeah. And that was like a gift from God, And that's her baby. Like I always say, bring your baby. Like, I never want her to think she can't bring her baby with her to my home. But she now has a job, and this week she's bought a car.
It's wonderful.
I know. Because you know what? Like, imagine not having, like, I have my parents. like even though you don't ask your parents, you didn't ask your parents, your nieces, and everybody tries to nieces, nephews. You have tons of family. Like they all try to do their own thing, but when you have somebody that literally has to do it from nothing, like down below, nothing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They have nobody. But like you and I, in the grand scheme of things, like cheering them on, and they come that far, that's them. That's 100% them.
Yeah.
And I told her that. I said, "You're stronger than you think."
Yeah.
She's like,
And she
know.
may never know how strong she is. I don't know. As she grows and experiences life in a positive atmosphere, she may learn. But it's been
Hell.
terrible. This has been Father Louis Scurti with Heather Finn talking about many aspects of the poverty of our society, not economic poverty, moral poverty, with trafficking, violence, taken advantage of, drug use, etc. We shared these 3 episodes with you so that from here on you can take the bull by the horns, look into it, examine it, research it, and be careful who you trust. And your children, be careful who they talk to and who they trust. Because lurking behind every tree is a jumper. And that terminology comes from jail. One of my clients who was incarcerated said in jail, the men, he was in a men's jail, the men who abuse or molest children are called tree jumpers. Never heard it until I heard it from him. So be careful behind every tree there might be a jumper. Our goal is to expose and to share and to enlighten. I hope these 3 episodes have been enlightening, frightening, maybe causing anger, but anger to do something positive. We're made in the image of God. Hopefully, we can respect every person in our country, and across our border, and across our world. God bless you. Thank you. You have been
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And
Thank you.
she's the first guest I kissed on public. Thank you very much. She's a Jersey girl. What are you going to do? God bless you. Let me hear from you, Father Lou Scurti at hotmail.com. Any information you can give me later for?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give you some videos, and I'll give you some statistics, and some handing out hope information.
Good. And I'll put all that on our episodes. God bless you. Pass the word on. Keep the word alive and well. It's God's word, and it's yours. God bless you.
Thank you.